Hello students, I'm Mohammad Fazik, Biochemistry mentor, and I'm back today with a new topic, that is corrosion and rancidity. This is the last topic of the chapter, chemical reaction and equation. So let's start. Students, you must have observed the shiny color of the newly bought objects made up of copper, iron, silver, etc. But with the passage of time, they become dull. Why it has happened? Because of corrosion. So you know students, certain metals, they get attacked by the agents like oxygen, moisture, carbon dioxide and certain chemicals, and they get damaged. This is called corrosion. So what is corrosion exactly? So it is the process of slow eating up of the metal surface by different agents like oxygen, moisture, etc. So actually corrosion is a redox reaction. Corrosion is a redox reaction in which the metals are getting oxidized to metal oxide and the oxygen is getting reduced to oxides. So corrosion is a redox reaction. So let's talk about corrosion occurring in different metals. So when corrosion process is occurring in the iron, then this is called rusting. So what is rusting? The corrosion of iron is known as rusting. So the two major factors that is important for this corrosion in metal like iron, or you can say the factor which is responsible for the rusting of iron is, first one, presence of oxygen, and the second one is presence of moisture. So iron, when exposed to oxygen or air and moisture, they gets converted into hydrated iron oxide or hydrated ferric oxide, which is reddish brown in color. It is reddish brown in color. Now, next let's talk about copper. Copper, after getting corroded, it becomes green in color. Copper becomes green in color. Why? Because of the formation of basic copper carbonate. So actually what is happening here, the copper, when exposed to air, it reacts mainly with carbon dioxide and also with oxygen and moisture, and it forms CuOH whole twice and CuCO3. This is called basic copper carbonate. Similarly, if you will talk about silver, so after getting old, silver metals, they becomes black. Why it has happened? Again because of corrosion. Actually, silver, they react with the hydrogen sulfide gas present in the air and also with the oxygen, and they forms a new substance that is called silver sulfide, and it is black in color. So these were the examples of corrosion in different metals. Now, is this corrosion of metal, this process, are useful or harmful? So mostly I will say it is harmful, because due to the process of rusting of iron, every year millions of tons of iron, they gets damaged in the form of building, in the form of railings, in the form of bridges. They gets corroded and it has to be replaced. So this is causing economical loss, huge loss. But if you talk about aluminium, and oxidation in aluminium is useful also, because aluminium reacts with oxygen and forms a protective layer of aluminium oxide, and it is useful. So aluminium case is exceptional, but rest of the other cases that we have discussed here is also important, and it is harmful also. Now, let's talk about the prevention of corrosion. How we can prevent the process of corrosion or process of rusting. How it can be prevented. So the first one is painting. Next one, galvanization. After that, we can do tin chromium plating, or we can do alloying, or we can use grease or oil. So whatever the process you are doing here, one thing is common here, that what we are doing here, we are preventing the outermost surface of the metal to coming in contact with the oxygen, with the moisture, etc. So we are preventing the contact, and that is why we are painting it, we are galvanizing it. Galvanization means covering the molten layer of zinc, or you are alloying it, making the alloy, means mixture of two or more metals or non-metals. Okay, tin chromium, they are also very less reactive, so it can be plated or coated with tin or chromium also. So this is all about corrosion. Now our next topic is rancidity. Have you observed that the food being cooked, after some time they get spoiled? Why it has happened? If you will not heat it, if you will not keep it inside the refrigerator, it gets spoiled. It produces bad odor. Its taste also changes. So why it has happened? Because of rancidity. So what is rancidity, students? So rancidity is a process in which the fat and oil present in the food item, they gets oxidized. So this process of oxidation of fat and oil present in the food item is known as rancidity, and the food is said to be rancid. Now because of this rancidity, the food gets spoiled, so their taste will change, their odor will change, they produce bad odor. Now what we can do to prevent rancidity? To store the food for a longer time, what we can do? There are certain things that you can do. The first thing, by keeping the food in refrigerator, right? If you will keep the food in refrigerator, what we are doing? We are lowering the temperature. So by lowering the temperature, oxidation can be delayed. Next one is by using certain substances like antioxidant. What are antioxidant? So they delayed the process of oxidation. For example, BHA, butylated hydroxyanisole. If you will add BHA, oxidation process gets delayed. Next is packing the food with nitrogen. I think all of you has like Lay's, Kurkure. So you know these things, these packets are filled with some air. That is not exactly air, that is nitrogen gas. So they are filled with nitrogen gas, which is inert gas. They don't allow the oxidation process, and it can be stored for a longer time. You can also keep the food in airtight containers so that oxidation could not happen. So these things can be done to prevent the process of rancidity or to store the food for a longer time. So in this video we have discussed about corrosion and rancidity. So what is corrosion? The process of slow heating up of the surface of metals by different agents like oxygen, moisture, etc. Iron gets converted to hydrated ferric oxide, which is reddish brown in color. Copper becomes green due to formation of basic copper carbonate. Silver becomes black due to formation of silver sulfide. And this was about rancidity. So that's all in today's video. We will meet in next video, that is from the chapter Acid, Base and Salt. For more videos, like, subscribe and share, and don't forget to press the bell icon. See you.